Hello, my YouTube friends. Thanks for joining in today. If you haven't hit that subscribe button or slam that bell, please do now because we got a lot of great things going on. And one is the Shure SMB giveaway. All you have to do to win this microphone is type down there as to why you love the Shure microphones. It's easy, man. Go ahead and do it. Type down there as to why you love the Shure microphones. Hit that subscribe button, slam that bell, and let's get you in, man. So, man, we got a lot of great things happening, man. And one I wanted to talk about today was what microphone or actually what mixing board you like to mix behind. And I say that because there's so many different mixers out there. And they're all kind of like microphones, man. They all have their own flavor and their own sauce to the mix. And if you had your choice to actually mix behind some of the best, what would you choose? Uh, I know mine. That's kind of one of those things I've always kind of really wanted to mix behind an old Trident board. Get behind an old Trident board and mix behind something like that, or an old SSL or Neve or something. But everybody has their own taste and what they like to work behind, and what they like to use. What's interesting is I was talking to a friend of mine, Dennis Riva Deniera, and I did get that right this time. Uh, he uh, he was telling me a lot of times is you've got these external preamps. And a lot of times they'll use these external preamps before instead of just using the board itself, which makes a lot of sense to me because you get different flavors going in. And there are some engineers out there that actually like to get their sound from their microphone and their preamp. And some like to use a compressor out of that, and some don't. But they'll pretty much get everything. As little EQing as possible that has to be done. And they typically like to do that because they like to print like that. And they feel like they can do this and achieve this with just the microphones and the preamp. And so they'll match a specific microphone up to a specific preamp for a specific instrument. And some of the best that are out there have achieved this, and they highly believe in this theory. And so that's my boy calling right there. So I'm gonna have to text him back and say I'm in a show right now. But anyway, they believe in this theory working like that, man. And it seemed like a long time ago, in the beginning of my days of recording, I always kind of was under the concept or just thinking like that, man. Like I went out and sought out every vintage microphone that was possible, known to man back from the 30s. Uh, Everything from Turners to Electro Voices, and I pretty much just whenever I got these microphones in. Uh, or found these microphones, the first thing that I would do was I would plug it up to a preamp and just hear, and I noticed how it sounded. Some were real bright. Some had these boosts, around 5K or whatever, and they had their bumps and dips in different areas. And even at an early stage of recording in my youth, I realized that, and in my mind, I was thinking, well, I can use these. There's really not a bad microphone. Uh, this was before I found out what some of the greats are doing. And I was like, man, this is really kind of neat. I like the way this sounds. I wonder if it'll sound good on this instrument, or I wonder if it'll sound good on these congos or whatever. And I was always experimenting with stuff like that and using some very inexpensive microphones to create some great sounds. So it's not always about, um, how expensive your microphone is. It's choosing the right mic to the right preamp to the right instrument. So, and that just comes with experience, and and you can kind of get these things down. And the biggest thing is just using your ears and listening, and listening, paying attention to what you're actually hearing after you record it. So I just wanted to pop on here today, man, and really just kind of get an idea of what you guys are using, what kind of mixing boards you guys are using. A lot of people are using Presonus. A lot of people really like Presonus stuff. It's a fairly inexpensive board that you can get into, and it's all digital and whatnot. And so you got things in there that you can do as far as your reverbs and delays and compressors and EQs, and they have that all on each track, on each channel. So it makes it nice. You can kind of get into something that sounds really really good, um, for not a whole bunch of money. And so, but a lot of people like the API. A lot of people use the API. To me, I always thought that it would be a toss up between that one and the Trident. And I just know a lot of bands have done some great things on the Trident, and of course the Neve and the API as well. But it's not to say that you can't do some great stuff in the box, mixing in the box or recording in the box. Like I say, if you choose the right preamps and microphones before you get there, you're halfway there with a good take. And so that plays a large role on the scale, man. Just keep that in mind. A lot of times it's not about what you have, it's about what you have and knowing what you have and how to work it the best way possible. And so, and then too, having a vision in mind, I always like to go back to having a reference. Whenever you have a reference and something to shoot for, it's easier to hit the target. I mean, just as an athlete has a regiment program that he works out and goes by each day, he has a target. He wants to reach a certain goal. He sees himself there at that goal line. He sees himself at that weight, and he sees himself at that maturity in his strength. And so that's the way audio engineers need to look at a song or something that they're trying to achieve, especially if they like a certain type of genre. Let me get this a little closer here, y'all. If they really like a certain type of genre that they're trying to achieve, whether it's heavy or more ballad stuff or whatever, I would have to say find some artists that have already made it there and listen to their mixes and analyze the mix as to how you want to approach your session. And so I always typically like to take a song that maybe I'll write a song. It might be, um, I don't know, more ballad, or it may be more heavy or whatever. And then I'll take a group that after I write the song and create the song, and then I'll kind of see what category that it could possibly fit in at its best. And sometimes I don't even think of me doing it. I think of someone else doing or singing the song. But I'll pick the genre that it should set in, the tempo, and once I get all that right, then I pretty much pick a group that's already that I like, and use that song as a reference to try to get my mix close as possible to it. And I might just go ahead and dump it down on a track. That way I can A B from where I'm at. Am I getting close? And so that's a neat thing to kind of keep in mind, especially for you guys that are just starting out. I know, or if you're in a band and you have a certain vibe to yourself, and you want to. It's always nice to be unique in your own style and find your own sound. And that's what's so cool about different amplifiers and changing tubes and all this stuff, is to create your own sound and not be like everyone else. And the best thing that I could probably say is learn other people's stuff, but completely be original in your own right. And so when you do that, you really you stick out from all the rest. You're not trying to be like somebody else. You're not trying to sing like someone else. But you understand what they're doing. And so when you can understand other people's work, whether it's mixing, singing, playing an instrument, copying the same licks as David Gilmour or something like that, learning their technique, and then you can kind of do your own amalgamation about how you want to be, and you can kind of incorporate all their different training and their talents, and then use that in your own style, man. And that's really really important. A lot of times, I remember being in bands growing up, and you had all these copy bands, which is really really cool, and some of them are great, really really sing like a certain artist, or really really know all the chops and the licks and whatnot, and that was really good. But when it came to originality, when it came to them being able to sit down behind, go to the studio and write something, or whatever, they just really couldn't come up with too much. They might have one or two original songs, and that's about as far as it went with them. The rest of their stuff was copy stuff. So I really like the idea of just learning everybody's stuff, and then, like I say, just kind of coming up with your own flavor and your style of doing things. But mixing boards, if it was my choice, and someone said, "Hey, let's go in the studio and let's start recording," and it was my choice, um, I would have to say API, maybe Neve, or the Trident board. Those would be my top three that I'd want to get behind, and and let the greats do their magic, and me just sit there and learn as much as I could and soak it all in, and only speak when I needed to or whatnot, but let them do all the work, and me just observe, you know. And that's a really good thing, man. It's a really really nice thing. And someday soon, I'm sure I'll be doing some work behind some big boards, and I just can kind of see that happening. But the other day, I was talking to Dennis, a friend of mine that I just met, and we were talking, and he was telling me some things, and I threw out there that, wouldn't it be kind of nice that if you had all these different rooms set up, and in each room you had a different board. In this room you had an API. In this room you had a Trident. In this room you had a Neve or SSL in there, um, and you could pretty much have the same tracks going through each board, and then just jump from each room to each room, and see what kind of board, what the flavor, what it actually did to the mix. And I thought that'd be kind of really cool, man, to be able to do something like that. I'm surprised. I don't know if they have anything out there. If anybody has anything out there like that, where you could jump from one room to the next with the same tracks, and A B your tunes, man, and then say, okay, I want this song through this board. I want this song through that board, or maybe they just or I want all my songs through this board. So that's kind of a neat thing. But I just wanted to stop in today, man, and say hello to you guys. And I'm gonna get Dennis back on the show here soon. We had some technical problems with the platform that I'm trying to use, and I think I got all the bugs worked out now, man. I actually contacted tech support, and so we're gonna give it another shot here before long. But if you haven't subscribed to my channel, you better do now, because we're getting close to another drawing on the Shure SMB giveaway. And wouldn't that be a great Christmas present, man? It'd be a great Christmas present for you. And it's easy to do. Type in there as to why you love the Shure microphones, man. Slam that bell, and be sure to share too. Also, we're trying to reach another 1,500 subscribers here. So the closer we get to that, we're going to be giving this baby out. So throw your name in the hat, man, and we will see you again.